All right, let's get to it. Hey, what's up, people? My name is VARUN Raj. I am an actor. Some of you might know, some of you may not. If you're listening to this for the first time, for those of you who know, you're sick. And for those of you who don't know, you will. You will. Don't worry. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, basically, I just wanted to introduce this podcast that I've been thinking about doing. I've been thinking about it for a while. It's called Brown Frown, and a lot of people that I've spoken, or not a lot of people. I mean, I've only spoken to about 5 people about this sort of thing anyway. But a lot of people were like, "Well, why are you calling it Brown Frown?" And I was like, "Good question, good question." And basically, it was just years ago. I was at a casting, an audition, um, and the casting director called me in. We did a scene or so of the sides which was sent out that I had to learn, and then after the first sort of cut, she stopped me. She went, "Yeah, it's good. I see what you're doing there. It's nice. It's nice. But why are you frowning?" I was like, I don't think I am, but I mean, yeah, I can try and rectify that in the next take. And so I did. I thought I did, and so we went again. Blah 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 blah. Did the scene and cut again, and basically she stopped me again and was like, "Yeah, you're still frowning. It's not, you know, I'm not sure why you're frowning because the scene doesn't really dictate or ask those kinds of things from you. The character, I think, was a prince or something like that. Of course, he bloody was a prince, and a brown ethnic prince. Jesus." And yeah, it was just one of those things which always kind of stuck with me because I was really quite adamant that I wasn't frowning, and even doing the scene, I was looking up, going, I'm definitely not frowning, and I don't really understand why I'm being told I'm frowning when I'm not." And so I even went home and spent ages, um, looking in the mirror, and I was just like, what is the makeup of my face? I'd never just stared and just looked at my face. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so I was just looking into this mirror, and I was like, I look really close, and my eyebrows have got these indentations right here, two little, and can't do anything about them. They're just natural. And I mean, I don't know if that's what she was talking about in terms of my frowning, but to me, that's probably what it might have been. I don't really think I have a habit of frowning on stage or in front of a camera. I'd like to think I don't. If I do, I might be all wrong, and we might have to change the name of this podcast. But yeah, so basically, my reason for calling it Brown Frown was kind of taking control of that narrative because I didn't think there was an issue with it, and I've never heard it before, never heard it since. But I was also like the great actors that we know. Do you know what I mean? Like Robert De Niro. We've got Al Pacino. We've got Joe Pesci. I'm just kind of going through the cast of The Irishman because they're all goats in my eyes. But yeah, those kind of, De Niro, with his hey, and if you're listening to this, you probably won't be able to see it. So go to YouTube and you'll see it on there. Um, you know, if De Niro went in and did De Niro, and the casting director went, your eyes are squinty, or you're doing this weird thing with your mouth, we wouldn't have De Niro. Like De Niro wouldn't be De Niro because of it. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, I don't know. I think a part of me was just kind of like, this ain't right. Like, I'm that's just my face. So stop talking about it, man. And so yeah, that's basically the story of how I kind of arrived at the Brown Frown podcast. It's not got nothing to do with brown people, and it's got nothing to do with you know brown people frowning or like, oh yeah, all brown people are just none of that. It's just purely based on the fact that it was just something that happened in one of the castings a while back, and I wanted to kind of use it because I just thought it's catchy. Number one, you can kind of get behind it, and you know what? It's actually likely or open at the moment because this is just the first sort of trial podcast where I'm just practicing kind of speaking on a mic because it's quite weird talking in front of this thing here, and we're still trying to get the sound right, and all that. But like everything, you got to have a first episode. You've got to be a bit proactive. To be honest with you, like, there's also this thing of building something from scratch. As a performer, you never really get a chance starting out, and I would say I'm not starting out, but I'm definitely up and coming. Fingers crossed, touch wood. But you never really get a chance to kind of put something into your hands until later on in your career, when you've got backers and you've got people behind you and you've got people doing, people who believe in your brand. But there's a lot of influences that I listen to on podcasts, like a lot of American influences, like the Flagrant Boys, Andrew Schultz, Akash Singh, Kaz, Alex Media, and I think they've really got their sort of they've got their finger on the pulse in terms of what you should be doing if you want to get into the sort of entertainment industry, or even if you just want to kind of build a community and a following on your own. And I mean, this isn't just for a following. This is purely based on something where I could build something where I don't know where it could go, which is the best thing about it. You do something, you put it out there, and you see what happens. And here we are doing it. That's important, because a lot of people talk and stuff like that. I mean, I am also incredibly guilty of this, by saying, yeah, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. And then when it comes to do it, you're like, your mind starts to play games with you, and you start thinking, oh my God, what are people going to think? Oh my God, what are they going to do? Oh my God, I can't put this out. What am I going to do? I'm from Slough. People are just going to cuss me all the time. It's got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? It's, and I might be saying, do you know what I mean, fairly often as well, just in this episode, because I'm a bit nervous, and I say, do you know what I mean, when I'm a bit nervous. So it is what it is. Deal with it. But yeah, I wouldn't say I had a fear of putting things out, but I definitely had an apprehension to putting things out, because it doesn't sort of put you in the firing line, but it kind of does. People have got to see this first. And to be honest, I've always wanted to do it, and the past week or so, there have been increasing amounts of pointers towards just starting it, doing it. And it was like yesterday. I was in the car on the way back from the station after watching a show, and the BBC 4 was on, BBC Radio 4, and on it there was a lady talking about podcasts and how she'd started a podcast, and the slow build nature of it, and how it's quite important to kind of, if you're in the entertainment industry, and you kind of want to build anything, be it build a media company, build a studio, you can just pop on, get a mic from Amazon, £33, very cheap for what you're getting. Find something. I mean, the MacBook Pros have got GarageBand and all that sort of stuff, so you can or Audacity online. There's ways of recording, and then just a video camera, just film it, stick it online, and see what happens. And so I kind of just wanted to start by just doing it, seeing what happens. And I'm sure as it progresses and as I get a bit more of an idea in terms of what kind of content I want to put on, what I want to talk about, it will, fashion itself. And so I do ask you guys to bear with me in terms of a structure. It might just be me, going through therapy on one of these one week, because the life of an actor is tough to when you're kind of first starting out, or when you're when things are picking up momentum, but you're waiting for things to pop off, or not even waiting for things to pop off. You've got projects going, and it's also something to do, which, and that's being brutally honest with you. And I'm not trying to put anything out in terms of, this is what I think it should be, or this is what I know it should be. I just wanted to do it. And I think that podcast I was listening to on Radio 4 was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to do it. And then on top of that, there was also I had a conversation with one of the boys, James Vickery, absolute banging singer. So check out his stuff on Spotlight. Sorry if that spiked as well. You might want to adjust your volume settings. But I was having a conversation with him, and he was just kind of like, just do it, bro. Just do it. He's in LA at the moment, and he's doing really well. And it's just kind of like inspiring to kind of just put content out. And I'm not bum licking you, James, so don't get excited, all right? And anyone out there, you can do one if that's what you think, but you've got to give credit where credit's due. And it's something which is, I just felt pretty inspired to do it after that, because if you're on the edge of something, sometimes you just need someone to go, do you know what? Just take the dive. Just do it. It might not be great the first time round, but I guarantee you the 10th time that you do it, it'll be a lot better than the first. And so here we are. It's a cool feeling knowing that you started something and that you're sustaining it, and that you're going to keep it going. We're going to get some people on the podcast as well. We're going to get some friends who are talking, friends in the industry, in the biz. And yeah, boom. That's basically and the reason why I wanted to do it. Another reason is it's a year where last year was a really great year in terms of some of the work that I'd done, on the social media side of it, at VARUN RAJ and all social media, and the VARUN and then R for J. Just a little quick plug there. Quick plug, come on. It was last year was really great, so but I'd kind of had not a break. I wouldn't call it a breakthrough, because a breakthrough is something which is monumental. But it was. I turned a corner basically, and did a couple of plays towards the end of last year, and it was great. It was really good to be involved, and there were back-to-back shows as well. And I mean, in this industry, to get back-to-back work, it's a blessing in disguise. Do you know what I mean? Well, no, it's not even in disguise. It's just a blessing. And so the second show wrapped up about 2 weeks ago. And that was great, working with some really great actors, Sam Buttery and Kath Whitefield. Shout out to you guys if you're watching, and I'm sure you will be, because I'll send you the link afterwards. But it was one of those things where, like, over the period of 7-8 months, there's so many people I've come into contact with, there's so many ideas I've come into contact with, and I just think starting up a podcast is such a great way to kind of compile those ideas, those experiences, and attack some of those fears. Because I mean, up until sort of when I turned the corner, it was quite well. It wasn't slow. I mean, there were auditions coming in and stuff like that, but in terms of landing them, there wasn't much momentum, and I think it's quite okay to admit that, because loads of people go through that kind of thing, and everything is based on momentum. Even this podcast is based on momentum. I want to keep it going sort of every single week, and do one every single week. If there's something I read, or if there's something I come up against, if we get someone on, do an interview, or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, you got to keep going, you got to keep doing it. And when the auditions are coming in and you're not landing any work, it can be disheartening, and it can be quite a struggle to get it to a point where you're gonna you want to keep on going, you want to keep on going, you want to keep on going, especially when it's tough, because at the end of the day, we've all got to earn money, and we've all got to save, think about families, all that sort of stuff. Everything comes into it. But for me, this year I'd kind of earmarked as a year to really attack those kinds of fears, and things are sort of in motion now in terms of the next couple of years should be really good in terms of the projects that are coming up, and just the way the industry's kind of working out in terms of sort of the content for brown people, even the roles that are out there, the work that's being produced, even producing sort of my own sort of work when this gets to a point where it's popping, and I've no doubt that it will. It's just going to take time. You know what I mean? To be completely honest with you, it is just going to take time. But yeah, this is all part of the vision. This is what it's about. It's about just having an idea and execution. And I think a lot of it comes down to the narrative that you kind of feed yourself. I'm someone who likes to stay positive, likes to stay sorry about that. Likes to stay positive, likes to stay, connected, and and yeah, just moving towards a better goal. But it's so easy to kind of fall into that, that switch of when it gets heavy, and you don't feel like you can do something, or when you feel like there's no real way out. And I think those are the moments where stuff like this, podcasts like this, where you can be a bit introspective and just talk about how you're feeling and put it out there. Because I mean, not enough people do it, and a lot of people are going like 1,000 miles an hour, but they don't really get a chance to look at the work that they've done. They kind of look at it from that moment and go, oh my god, I'm not doing anything now, even though they've done great work before them, and that is not taken into account. And so yeah, you'll have to bear with me. I mean, it's a bit, as you can see, if you're listening in, it's just a blank white wall, a blank desk. I've got just a Mac and a lamp here, and we will kind of be building this brand, I guess, as the days go on. I'm talking to a few people about getting a nice little jingle put in. We might get like a little graphic of a brown frown, like in this space here. But it's all open, which is nice, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The most important thing was to kind of just knuckle down and to start. And we're going to keep these podcasts at about 20 minutes, I think, because to begin with, that's a good time to do it, because I'm still learning the craft. You're still learning about all these sorts of things: sound quality, ambience, reverb, all that sort of stuff. I'm just excited to be putting stuff out. Yeah, I'm excited to be creating, because that's all I want to do at the end of the day. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so yeah, I mean, I think with podcasts like this, it just allows people to kind of know who you are, and with the slow build nature of it, when things pop off, because they will, it's inevitable. It's moving that way. It's a madness. It will be a madness. It's nice to kind of have things going in the background, so that when things do pop off and when that switch happens and they move into another gear, the whole network thing comes up. People start searching in, they start finding videos, they start looking at content. I mean, we'll be putting little 1-minute videos of even this one on Insta, just to kind of let people know that there's a podcast, and if they're interested, like, have a little look. Even if they just want to listen to some inner ramblings and inner thoughts, and go, do you know what? Yeah, I kind of feel the same thing, and then reach out. Like, I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of what the first sort of what you think about the podcast, the idea, the concept of it. It's a crazy time to be in, and it's also a bit of a blessing where we've got all these ways of putting content out and whatnot. It's just, you've just got to hone in and find a way to do it. And I'm sure this will change. I'm sure, the backdrop will change. I'm sure the setting will change. We might take it on the move, might take the mics to, if I sort of go to a place in London and speak to a couple of sort of places about doing like an in-house podcast every now and again, and just chat with people. The idea is to connect, and connection is so important, because especially when everyone's on the phones these days, you don't really talk to people no more. And if you are talking to people, it's quite briefly, it's via text. You don't really, put a message across. And so, let's connect, babies. Let's connect. Yeah, man. That's Usher, by the way. Shout out. But yeah, so I'm super stoked to be putting this out. I'm glad that I'm overcoming the nerves to do it, because it is nervous, regardless of what anyone says. I mean, not all I don't think anyone's confident, regardless of what job that you do. But I mean, especially with actors, you're putting out, bloody actors. They're always loud, they're always out there, they're always confident. But they're people at the end of the day as well who feel nerves, who feel all those things. And this podcast just allows me to kind of document the journey from now until whenever, really. It's an open book, and that's the best thing because you can write whatever you want. And we'll be looking for sponsorships and that. I was thinking about sponsorships, right? And like I was thinking about the kind of listeners that we want to attract, and I was like, well, if we get to the point where there are sponsorships, because obviously that might just not happen. It might just be a point where I'm just chatting absolute punk for 20 minutes. But yeah, I was like, I want sponsorships and stuff like that. Of course I do, and there's nothing wrong with saying it. It's ambitious, and people love ambition, and that's what we're going for. We're building here. People, keep that in mind. You're also part of this, and so I wouldn't mind like a hummus company or something. I was just thinking about stuff that I like, right? And two things that I like are quinoa and hummus. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm vegetarian. If you don't like that, mm, 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 yeah. But I mean, a lot of people eat hummus. I eat hummus. Hummus sponsorships. If anyone knows a contact in a hummus sponsorship company who wants to, sponsor the podcast or something like that, get involved. Get in touch. Like that's what it's about. It's about collabing. And, if anyone sort of in the arts or any sort of background does want to jump on at any point, talk about something they're going through, something which they think a lot of people could hear and a lot of people could do with listening to a story, be it something that happened to you when you were traveling, be it a holiday which changed your life. Anything is open. It's all open. It's all welcome. And that's what we're here doing. So, let's connect. Let's talk. And I think that's us. I think we're at like 22 minutes. So that's not bad for a first try. Not bad for a first try at all. And that's it. So, I mean, I want to wrap it up now. I'm not going to take too much time. It is just the first one. So we are getting used to this kind of thing. But, thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for watching if you are a viewer. We're building, and that's a very, very exciting place to be. So get involved, get in touch if you want to be on. Message me, DM me, share the social clips. The Insta is VARUN RAJ, and then the Raj R4J, so VARUN R4J. And we'll see you next week. Peace.